Okay, so here we go. First and foremost, find the surface area of each sphere or hemisphere. Round to the nearest tenth. Of course, we're not rounding. We're just going to leave it in terms of pi, which makes it even easier. So does anybody remember the formula for, I don't think we did surface area in pre-algebra of a sphere. Does anybody know surface area? 4 pi r squared. All right, so it's basically what? 4 times the area of the circle. All right, that's the surface area of a sphere. The volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. All right. Now, if I wanted to draw a hemisphere, let's say, and I would like someone to tell me the surface area of the hemisphere. Now, obviously, I'm asking you, all right, because it's unusual. All right, so generally the first thing that comes to mind is going to be what? And that's probably what? That's probably wrong. All right, so I want someone to tell me, without jumping to conclusions so fast, what the surface area of a hemisphere is. Tell me. Somebody else. Brilliant. 2 pi r squared, in other words. Someone else. Someone else. Come on now. I said I would have said it's 2 pi r squared, right? That's what you want to say because it's half of the sphere. But we're going to tell them that it's what?
3 pi.
Why? Yes. Yeah, so you don't need Google for that. All right, that takes the whole point away from thinking about it. All right, 100% correct. So that was very good. So if I was just doing the outer piece, that surface area would be what? 2 pi r squared. However, when you sliced the sphere, you created what? You created another surface. All right, you created another surface. All right, and that surface is the circle. All right, and so that was another what? Pi r squared. All right, so when you think about it, I want you to think of the surface area of a hemisphere as what? 3 pi r squared. All right, 3 pi r squared. And again, I used to argue with my teachers all the time about who's making this stuff up. All right, and it's really fascinating. All right, math, I tell everyone, if you can make it all the way to calculus, they will show you exactly how that was discovered. It's really fascinating. All right, and if we just had a little bit more knowledge, I might even be able to teach you that, but you're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer. And they should be able to explain to you how exactly that came into existence. Very fascinating. All right, but right now we just have to what? Accept that that is true, and someone smarter figured it out. All right, but soon you will be able to prove it. All right, now with that being said, all right, let me see what's going on here. Yeah, very easy day. All right, so let's just knock this stuff out real quick. Number 1, all right, I want the surface area.
196 pi inches.
196 pi what? Inches squared. All right, now remember what I told you. All right, and actually on the last little quiz or whatever I said, I was actually pretty happy. Some of you have to be careful, and I did make some mistakes, and I need you to understand, guys, I try to do it quickly because I want to get the grades back. I have made mistakes. Someone asked me, I already forgot. You can come see me later. There was a mistake. Also, if you write small, I have to open and close my screen. It's very difficult. All right. So that's how sometimes I get annoyed right? Because I'm trying to do quick, and then I have to spend extra time because some of you write small. Some of you also highlight things, all right? And when you highlight things, then I can't see it sometimes, all right? Because it's clear on yours, but when it takes a picture and sends it over, it blocks it out. So then I have to mess around and try to figure out, all right? Most of the time I look at your work to figure out if you've got it correct, but there are times where I just can't read it, all right? So keep that in mind. Okay, now number 2, help me out, guys.
1,024 pi.
Surface area. Everybody okay with that? All right, now remember, you're doing the numbers. You're doing the calculator. All right, that's what everyone is doing. All right, I don't want you writing down my answers. And if you're not seeing something or it's different, tell me. 4096. Somebody said 4096. Anybody agree with that? What's the radius? The radius is 16. So 16 squared is 256. 256 times 4 is 1024. So that is correct. All right, you have to be careful. And again, I want to make this clear too, so you don't have to ask me. All right, when they draw the diameter, you don't have to ask me if that's the diameter or the radius. That is the diameter. If they draw it halfway, that's the radius. I know it sounds kind of silly, but in the past, sometimes it doesn't look right. So if the line goes all the way through, it's automatically the diameter. That's what I found out. All right. So now if we have a hemisphere, now I didn't really mention this, but what do you think they mean by radius of great circle? Yeah, the circle in the middle. All right. It's talking about the cross section. All right. When you take a cross section of a circle, you always get a circle. So the great circle is what? It goes through the center. Exactly. All right. So that's why they're telling you that. All right. But again, we will always, for the most part, have that as the radius. So someone help me out with number 3.
192
Pi yards squared. Perfect. All right, so here we go. The sphere has an area of a great circle. So now, do I need to figure out what the radius is? Who said no? Why? That doesn't tell you the answer. Hold on. Someone, Brady, explain to you what you mean. That's already what? That's already pi r squared. Listen to what he's saying now, because that's important. Does everybody agree we could calculate the radius by dividing by pi and taking the square root? That would give me the area. Then you plug it back into the formula, surface area equals 4 pi r squared, correct? Now, I'm trying to get you to think a little bit smarter, so look up here on the board, make sure you're understanding me. Instead of doing that and thinking you're real smart, what could I do? Just do what? Just multiply by what? 4. Why am I just multiplying by 4? Because the surface area is pi r squared, and pi r squared is the area of the great circle. Most people don't understand what I'm saying. You got to be listening. Does everybody understand that? The great circle is the cross section that goes through the center of the circle. So this right here that I'm highlighting down here, this is the great circle, right? If you take another cross section, it will create a circle. Just doesn't go through the center. All right. So number 4, the correct answer was what? Yes. 114.4 inches squared. Everybody good with that? All right. Now, volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. Make sure you know that. And you should be writing it down. All right. Some of you know it. All right, the more you write it down, the better it'll be. 4/3 pi r cubed. All right, so we're going to leave it in terms of pi. Yes, sir. How do I do what? You do this, caret 3, right? That will raise it to any power, okay? It's also under math, but we don't really need that, all right? You need to know, I personally, if I was designing the calculator, I would take off the square and the square root button because everything can be written as a power, all right? And this caret button is the power, okay? So here we go. So I have volume is equal to 4/3 pi. What's the radius? 8.1, and then cubing. So make sure you can do it on your calculator. 8.1 cubed times 4/3. So now let's go math, enter, enter. Over 250, like this. 177,147 over 250 pi. All right, that seems a little obnoxious. I'm agreeing with you. All right, no problems. All right, so number 6, volume equals 4/3 pi what? What number? 47.4 cubed. All right, I'm listening.
141,000.
What?
0.2325.
Point.
2325.
All right, I'm okay with that. I don't feel like doing 141,000 as a fraction. All right, especially if the 0.232 terminates. You can do that as a fraction, but who cares? All right. So now I need to know this. What's the volume of a hemisphere? Let's see if you're thinking.
2/3 pi r. No, now it's just one. Because you don't know the great circle. It's just half.
Right, so if you cut the volume in half, is that creating another surface?
No. Yes.
Well, okay,
It doesn't
technically
matter.
it's creating another surface, but is it creating any more space?
No.
No, it's just literally dividing the space in what? Half. All right, dividing by 2. Is everybody with me on that? That's why I'm trying to get you to see the difference between the surface area of a hemisphere and a surface area of a sphere are different. All right, the volume, you're just cutting the figure in half. So that's why it's 2/3. All right, now here it says the diameter is 48. So tell me, somebody.
9,225.
Bless you. All right, now remember, you're using your calculator. All right, making sure you're familiar. Anybody have any issues? Why it's what? What's half of 4/3? Right? It's a hemisphere is what they're asking. Okay. So now we have the circumference is 26. Therefore, the radius is what? Whoa, 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 whoa. If the circumference is 26, the radius is... No. We're brilliant. What is it? Stop telling me that. 13 over what? What?
13 over 2 pi.
Close.
26 over 2 pi.
26 over 2 pi is the same as what?
13 pi.
Stop. 13 over pi, right? Do you agree with that?
Oh, that makes sense.
Right, so if somebody said, give me the exact radius, you would tell them that the radius is 13 over pi. All right, now, All right. Again, because we're going into volume, if we cube pi, it's going to get, there's no way, in other words, to fix cubing pi in the denominator. All right. So we would go with the decimal approximation here. Yes, sir. Well, what's the circumference of a circle called? What's the formula? Yes, pi times d equals 26. So the diameter is 26 divided by pi, right?
Oh, the radius.
Yes, that's all. Importance, keep asking, right? It's simple explanations. All right, so we got the radius is 13 over pi. Now we always round to 3 decimal places, so go ahead. 13 divided by pi is not 94. All right, as little as I know 13 divided by pi is not that. I know that. 4.138. Now, listen, you're going to use that number. We're not using the decimal approximation. All right, so now we're doing the volume, which is 4/3 pi times our answer, what? Cubed. And then you're going to round that to 3 decimal places. So we'd say our volume is approximately what? 94.47. All right. Yes, we were, actually. Definitely were. I don't know. I'm not doing the problem. I'm asking. That's why I'm saying it's important for you to do the problem on your calculator. If you're getting the same answer, that's okay. If you're not getting the same answer, you say, help me out a little bit. If that's not right, I need to know. What? No, I want it as decimal. The reason it won't be allowed to convert to a fraction is because, remember, pi is irrational. So when we divide it by pi, there's no way it's going to be able to turn it to a fraction. That's why sometimes when you hit fraction or math enter on your calculator, it doesn't turn it to a fraction. It doesn't turn it to a fraction because it's an irrational number. It can't. But you rounded 94.475. Well, I'm telling you, it's not possible. If you do 13 divided by pi, right? So I'm listen. What I'm just trying to tell you something. I'm trying to show you why I know I'm right. All right, I know I'm right because when you divide by pi, you're going to get an irrational number. So there's no way. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier. There's no way when you're dealing with irrational numbers, all right, to convert it to a rational number. You with me on this? All right, so when we take 13 divided by pi, it's irrational. If I cube an irrational number, it's still going to be what? Irrational. That's what I'm telling you. However, if you rounded the number, it then can take that rounded number and put it into a fraction. That is true. All right, and the reason why I'm making a big deal about that is because you're going to have a standardized test coming up soon, and they may ask you about irrational and rational. All right, and irrational just means can't be written as a fraction. Rational means it can be written as a fraction. All right, so is everybody okay with number 8? All right, let's take a look at number 9. Let's just knock this out. So the volume is equal to how much? 500 pi inches cubed. Is that what you're telling me? All right, good enough. What? Okay, so again, someone's telling me different. So I'm thinking 4/3. The radius is what? 5 cubed. 5 cubed is 125. 125 times 4 is 500. 500 divided by 3. That's the answer. All right. Is that good? You good on that? All right. So here we go. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Those are all simple. If the radius, the cross section, quiet for a second. Let me just see what we can do. The volume of the complete set. Okay, let's do 23. right, and then the rest of it you can do on your own. The rest of them is easy. All right, so it says Marcus builds a sphere inside a cube. The sphere fits snugly inside the cube so that the sphere touches the cube at one point. What does it mean, touches it at one point? What's that word in math called? Say it again. Tangent. That's right. It's called tangent. All right. So when something touches at exactly one point, it's called tangent. So the sphere is tangent to all sides. Then it says the side of the cube is what? 2. So if the side of the 2 is cube, whatever I'm trying to say. All right. I was hoping it was Friday. The side length of the cube is 2. What is the surface area of the cube? Someone tell me. Listen, we're answering my question. I'm asking, what is the surface area of the cube? Say it again, someone? Yeah, someone who's actually thought about it. 24 square inches. I'm liking that. 24 square inches. What? Anybody have a problem with 24 square inches? Surface area of a cube. Okay, let's think about surface area. Just means the area of all the sides. It's a cube. So the area of one side is what? 4. So therefore the area of all 6 sides would be 24. All right, good morning, guys. Good morning. That was a hard one. That was a hard one. All right. Now, I have to figure out what the surface area of the sphere is. What is the surface area of the sphere? Somebody is telling me that it is 4 pi. Listen, if you really don't have anything positive to add to the class, just don't say anything. It's much better for me. All right. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just trying to help you. All right. Get through the day. All right. It's an easy day. All right. If you don't want to contribute, I don't care. Just keep your words to yourself. Other people are trying. Other people actually want to learn something. All right. Let's get it done and over with. Have no homework would be nice. So I'm going to ask one more time. What is the surface area of the sphere? Somebody says 16 pi inches squared. Okay. Why is the radius 1? Right, because if you draw it out, think of it this way. That's the same as the side of the cube. Therefore, the radius of the sphere would have to be what? 1. All right, which brings us to the conclusion that the surface area is in fact what? 4. Those of you guys who accidentally thought it was 16 is not a big deal. All right. So now, what is the ratio of the surface area of the cube to the surface area of the sphere? Wow, that's real hard. Surface area of the cube is what? Yes, 24 over 4 pi, so it is what? 6 to pi. All right, and if you want to know that's approximately, in math, we just say pi is approximately 3. So if you want, you can say it's about 2 to 1. All right, which kind of makes sense. But it's exactly what? When you do 6 divided by pi, what's that?
1.909.
Yes. Thank you. All right. So it's approximately twice as much area. The cube has twice as much area as the sphere. All right. Now, again, guys, I read through these. There's nothing difficult. All right. It's just practicing using the what? Formulas. That's all. All right. You should be able to get done in plenty of time so you have no homework. All right. Get that taken care of. Thank you. The end.